Hi, I'm very excited. We have Wendy Dumaresq here talking all things health, which is a very important part of the site. For us women, if we don't have our health, and men, we don't have our health, we don't have anything. So welcome. Tell me, I want to know your story. How did you get to be where you are today?
Okay, well, thank you, Scarlett, for having me. Yeah. My story as far as the health practitioner journey?
Yes, and just a little bit,
a little bit before that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've always been really interested in all things natural, coming from a very, big farm in the country, and also I've always been interested in like herbal medicine and so on. But I used to do nothing to do with medicine. My first undergraduate degree was business.
Wow.
And I really loved organisational change and organisational behaviour. I guess I'm just doing that on a one-to-one level with people with their health now. So my journey into starting to learn about natural medicine came about as a necessity. Because when I was 28, I had my first child and basically I died. So, yes.
Wow.
And I came back to Earth again.
Oh my
So that was nice.
Wow. How long were you
I
gone?
don't know. I don't know, but it was just something that happened really quickly, and I was very fortunate to have a very good doctor and team there. But the gift for that for me was, well, it wasn't really feeling like a gift at the time, but I became very unwell after that. I didn't recover well, and was told really that there was nothing that conventional medicine could do for me, and I was really unwell, and I had a little baby, so for me it wasn't an option checking out.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have a good doctor who said, look, I don't know what's wrong, we can't do anything, have you thought of seeing a naturopath or a herbalist? And I didn't even know what that was then.
That's
I knew what herbs were, but I didn't know really what a naturopath was. We're talking the dark ages back here.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that he recommended that was huge.
A tremendous person who I was very grateful to know.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I was so ill it didn't take much for me to improve. When I find that when people are quite ill, it doesn't take much to get them a little bit better to start to then want to do more, which is really good. And I then started to become, this is 28 years ago, so I started to become interested in natural medicine myself, and I decided that the corporate sort of life wasn't going to work well with a little one.
Yeah.
And I was doing some private consulting and other things as well. And I just became really interested in this natural medicine bizzo.
Awesome.
And it became a passion.
Yeah.
And it's been my life ever since.
Yeah, well, I mean, how could you not? Because it's, when we do it for ourselves too, I think that's so much more powerful when you're meeting a need, because you go, I actually need to find out about what I can do for my own health.
Yes.
So what's your titles? You're herbalist?
Yes, I'm a Western herbalist and natural fertility management practitioner, and I do various other modalities like Ayurveda, body work, Bowen therapy, and I also work with people at a deeper level to it.
Yes, very spiritual.
And it's really important that we look at all those levels, the mind, the body and the spirit.
So that was my next question was, as women over 40, what I think some of the issues that come up for us?
Well, one big issue is how women perceive themselves.
Yeah.
So quite often, and I think I've probably consulted with thousands of women over the years, whether that be one-to-one or running workshops or whatever. And a lot of women will say, I just want to feel better. I know that, I might have some problems as I'm getting older. And so there's this perception that getting older is what's causing the problem. But it's not necessarily that.
Okay.
So it's about how we perceive it. And I think, 40 plus, 50 plus is amazing. Some of the best women I know who are doing fantastic work are in their 60s and 70s.
This is what irritated me. This is hence why I started the site, was because I'd look at these over 50 sites and there's shots of bad nails, boils on arms. And I'm like, it's just not me. Doesn't resonate because, we're healthy. Yes, I've got some issues and whatever, but we're not like we're going to our grave, and I think that's where I love that, you're bringing it to light that it's not about getting older. It's
not. It's about how we look at it, how the media portrays it.
Yeah.
In a culture where young is beautiful.
Yes.
30's considered old.
I know, that's scary.
When I had my first child, I was 28, and I was called a prima gravida, so an older mother.
Wow.
At 28.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I had my son at 28.
And, I see a lot of women who are wanting to have children, 40 plus.
Definitely.
But you can be in better health at 40 plus than you might have been at 20 plus.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm 57. Proud of it.
Yes.
And I ride mountain bikes.
Oh, it's
and I have had some broken bones, but I'm a slightly less adventurous than I was, but it's nothing. I can quite easily do a 2-hour good ride or 3-hour whatever. I just need to make sure I leave a bit more time for recovery than I used to because I'm doing all this other stuff as well.
That's right, and I think that's what happened is we take on so much because the more experience we have, the more knowledge. We also know, I know for me, there's so much that I want to do and need to do, and I think there's definitely a bit of more recovery when we're doing things. What is the main issue, do you think, for women in body that we need to look out for?
I think we need to, and we can quite easily do this with diet and lifestyle, is consider reducing inflammation in our bodies.
Right.
It's a real biggie, and there's lots of things that can cause that. One is our thinking. Lack of movement, and there's actually been quite a few studies lately that have actually put this to rest. It's actually lack of movement, and I can't quote that now. I have got those statistics somewhere, or the research.
Yeah.
Lack of movement that causes more problems as we age than anything.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I've recently had an experience of that myself. I had spent 6 months getting a business ready to sell, and that involved a lot more sedentary time. Still exercising, but not as much. And everything seizes up. You start to feel really stodgy. You start to get a sore back. If you sit too long, you compress your arterial blood flow. So, you start getting swollen feet. So we've got to just keep moving. We've got to keep moving.
I know, I mean, it's so hard because for me that sits at my desk and I'm on the computer and the site, which I love, but it's really hard to
And you punctuate it with running up and down the stairs, or I might say, I've been too long doing this, I'll jump on the bike and ride around to the post office and back and take the mail. Yeah. It's just so easy to sit more. And one of the challenges that women and men over 40 have is that we tend to become more sedentary at a time when we need to move more. That can then result in weight gain, especially around the middle. Yeah. And that's a bit deadly. It's easy to do. It's a lot easier to gain it than lose it. That's right. For sure. I know that one. And so moving more. Yes. And you've got to challenge your metabolism a lot. So you might move differently to what you did, do different things.
So is there, you're just talking about metabolism, is there something else that would helps the metabolism on a level with food?
Food. A lot of people, not everyone. Now, if I'm looking at food, I'm looking at food as medicine and medicine as food.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay. And that's part of being a herbalist. It's not, because some foods are herbs.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I get that.
And some herbs are foods. So dietary comes into it in a big way as a herbalist. So, most people can really benefit from having a big garden salad with all different colours each day with some protein. It's really simple. What's happened is people's diets have become so sugar-laden and complex carbohydrate-laden because they are yummy.
Yeah, I know.
And I see that as more of a problem than saturated fats, actually. Obviously, you've got to be careful, not too much saturated fats, but some good quality protein, whether that's animal produce or vegetarian. 3 light meals a day, and we tend to have most of our meals in the evening when...
I know, and it's so hard because I literally can go without food during the day, and then at night time I feel like I need something in my belly.
And so you need to change that around. You need more in the day.
Yes.
According to my Ayurvedic studies and work with people, our digestive fire's at its best in the middle of the day. So that's the time to have your main meal. But it doesn't have to be huge. We eat huge amounts. So yes, if you're not having much in the day, you're going to be starving by dinner time. Yes. And I always say, after 6, sits on the hips. After 8, stack on the weight. And so it's not meaning we all need to be, size 8 or 10 or whatever, but we all need to feel good in our bodies. And it's only when people have been through, like I do programs now because I don't like doing one-offs. It's a waste of time and money for people. Yeah. You've got to help people learn stuff to do for themselves over a period of time. Yeah. So it's really important that you realise that a lot of this becomes a habit. It's addictive. It
is addictive. It's funny because for me, when I started not eating a lot at night, because I knew that, I was really restless at night because I loved that I was restless because my body was doing its job. But what I missed was that heavy sleep with the food. Do you know what I mean? That I was just out like a light, but that wasn't happening. Yes. So I mean, obviously I have to work on that, but I can see why it's harder for people, having been that to not, to go to sleep on a. It is retraining, isn't it? It's just a change of habit. Yeah.
And it's social. I mean, food is very social for us. Yeah. And that's great. I think it should be. We just maybe adjust how much we have at night. Yes. So we still have a lovely meal and a social time, but we might have some soup instead of a big meal or a nice salad with a bit of protein or something. Yeah, beautiful. There's always exceptions. When I'm working with people, I tend to design it more around whatever's going on for them and whatever health concerns they have and their lifestyle and so on. In my Radiant Woman book, I outline a few, dietary practices that are useful.
Because the other big thing that we've spoken about before is menopause and the myth around menopause, because menopause to me is a little bit scary because I feel like, everything's just going to stop or something, I don't know. And what is your take on menopause?
A year after you haven't had a menstrual bleed, you're considered to be in menopause. Okay. Yeah, but it's really important that women 40 plus know there's a lot you can do. If you look now at your general health and your reproductive health, you can do a lot to make it a lot smoother sailing.
Got it. Okay. Good. Yes. Okay.
And no, you're not necessarily... Your bones aren't necessarily going to crumble and fall away as soon as you've had that last period. Yes, because that's what the thing is.
You
can have a dip in bone density at that time.
Right.
But, you can do that earlier too. So it's a matter of looking at the whole person when you're looking at menopause as much as any other thing. What's going on with the whole person? What's their diet like? What's their adrenal health like? What's their liver health like? Your liver has to help with the processing of hormones. If your gut's stuffed, you're going to have a terrible time because there's a lot of... And that's the best thing about that. Natural medicine is so good with gut stuff and liver stuff.
Because I think, it's obviously it's a hormonal change. That's the thing of menopause. Yes. It's the hormones shift in that. And then, I hate the way it's like that movement towards death. Whereas really menopause is a new start in a whole other era, which I think is good to talk about, that, because I get frustrated that we're not respected, or the elders aren't respected, that this time then we come into over 40, over 50, that we're not now forgotten or a dying breed. It's actually, we have a whole new thing to offer. And I think from the media and to talk about that more is certainly my mission. What are the benefits of that can you see on a spiritual or physical level for menopause?
You can learn a lot about yourself at this time. In fact, my third book, which I'm halfway through, is at the moment called Menopause as Teacher and Healer. Oh, I love it. And it's full of women's stories of, that process that they went through and what they've learned, out the other side. Okay. And look, not all women are going to have issues. Yeah. There's a proportion of women who will just be plain sailing, but a lot of women do, but they don't actually connect it. Tiredness, crankiness, changing cycles, all sorts of other things can go on. And you can actually be told that it's all in your head. You can be told it's all in your head. I had an experience quite a while ago, of a medical practitioner who knows a little bit about what I do, and it was actually rather insulting, but I don't think it was meant to be, and was just telling me that it's a load of rubbish, that women have hormonal havoc around menopausal time, that it's really to do with emotional and social issues. So, and I felt really I couldn't say anything. I was stunned that in this day and age that's still being told to women.
I can't believe it, because hormonal, of course, that impacts everything around us mentally and emotionally.
And I don't know if this practitioner meant it to come out the way it did, but I could not think of one thing to say that was printable.
No, I wouldn't have either.
And I went away from there feeling, wow, if this is making me feel like this, and I know probably more than most women about what happens with hormonal changes, how do other women feel? They feel like they're being told it's all in their head.
See, this is the difficulty, because we not only have the menopause or that change in hormonal thing going on, but we also have the part that a lot of women lose their confidence anyway, because of the age or the change, or kids are leaving home, or there's all sorts of stuff going on. And this is what's so difficult about mental health, is that we get so caught up in this cycle in our mind, and we don't feel that it's real. Like, you have a sore leg, you can kind of go, well, that's okay, you can see it. But when it's internal like that,
it becomes
so dangerous for people. And, I think that's, amazing.
Yeah, well, lots of women. And I agree with him that the social and emotional things are really important, because they can make everything much worse.
But, but you need to be validated, going, these feelings you've got are real. And I get how you're feeling, and it's like when people say depression is just a mood, get out of it, but it's very real reaction, whatever that be.
Well, the effect it had on me was probably the opposite to what this practitioner might have expected. So I think I was meant to go away and just say, oh, well, it must be all in my head. I'm going mental, it must be all in my head. No, it wasn't. I'm lucky I have my herbs and nutrients.
You knew.
But what it did was spark off even more of the rebel in me. I've always been a bit of a reb, but the blessing of getting more mature, and yes, sometimes you can lose confidence, and that's where it's important to have wonderful mentors and so on around you. But with me, it just made me more determined to put out the word that no, you do not have to put up with that rubbish, that patriarchal rubbish. It's just awful stuff. And I tend to not worry about what I say as much now.
I think that's what happens as you get over here. The filter goes off, and it's good, because I'm in a world that really people are craving authenticity, or sincerity, I prefer to call it now, actually, because they want that truth, and I think it's time people need it.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've got Wendy on the site, so have a look around at all the wonderful things that she offers, her books and consultations, and wonderful articles, of course, on our site. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you.